Welcome to the Best Small Business Show. I'm Rich G here with my amazing co-host, BJ Flagg.
Hi, everybody. Can you even believe this is June? The trees are blooming, the weather is perfect, and the energy from our listeners this year is absolutely incredible, Rich.
Yeah, I don't know. People
What's
are
going on?
taking those energy drinks or something. It really is. BJ and I are getting a mountain of emails, texts, and calls about our topics from our listeners. I think we talk about something and people have tons of questions for us. So we always encourage people to reach out to us.
For sure.
Today, we are tackling a huge business trap. Getting too comfortable. And this is something I coach all of my clients. BJ, I think you do too.
Definitely.
Once things start working and you're on that magic carpet ride and you get very comfortable, you get lazy. So business owners tend to hit a peak and they assume that that magic carpet ride, that easy ride, is going to last forever. And it doesn't.
No, but the reality is every product, every service, every skill has an expiration date. It was built in the beginning. But the amazing news to all of this is you have the power to build your next massive win, starting right now.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the thing that we talk about a lot with getting people to understand that you constantly need to innovate. You constantly need to come up with new ideas, new products, new services, new ways of talking to your customer.
Exactly. Now, Rich, let's set the scene, okay? Why is this mindset shift so critical today?
Well, a great example is think about Apple, okay? Back in 2005. Now, that's a long time ago. It's 21 years ago.
We're going back in the vault.
But they had, if you remember, the iPod. They took over music. I mean, the iPod killed CDs when you could carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. It was a massive cultural hit. I think he launched it in 2000 or 2001. And by 2005, it was huge.
Boom.
Everybody had an iPod. And they were printing cash every day.
But Steve Jobs knew the smartphone would eventually kill the iPod. Okay, they're back there working on everything. He knew that. And he didn't wait to be replaced by a competitor. He chose to replace it himself, which was huge, absolutely huge. This is the guy that left the company and came back. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. People don't realize that when Steve Jobs launched the iPhone, you had Motorola, Nokia, and BlackBerry. They owned that space. They owned it.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve Jobs had the iPod, and he came out with the iPhone. And do we even know where Nokia, Motorola, and BlackBerry are today? They're not even. They're gone.
I know. It's amazing to think that the technology at that time just right past the competition. Amazing.
So you too, your business, you have to cannibalize your own success to build the future. You have to take your iPod and build that new iPhone. You can't wait for the decline, because if you wait for the decline, it's that much harder to launch something because you don't have the money coming in. So Steve Jobs built a second initiative, and we're going to call it the S curve because you're making an S curve up, starting to design the iPhone before the iPod sales began to stall. If you remember, sales on iPods were huge. People were like, why do you need this iPhone? He knew way ahead of time it was going to happen.
I'll tell you why. Oh my gosh. But today we're going to break down 4 key points to help you build your next S curve. So let's get into it. I'll start us off. You should, number 1 is map your coordinates without ego. This is a little hard, you guys. You need to map exactly where you are on your current growth curve. And that's so easy to do. You've got the data. Get yourself into the mode of looking and seeing where you might be sitting.
Yeah, this is something that BJ and I talk about constantly is tracking your sales, tracking your products, tracking your customers, and understanding where you are on that S curve. Are you surging upwards? Are you starting to plateau? Or are you starting to decline? So and this is where you need to be brutally honest with yourself here, because this is going to tell you exactly what you need to do next.
Yeah. And I really need you to look at this and stop using last year's profits to justify this year's comfort zone. If your client base isn't experiencing rapid growth upward velocity, you're on a plateau.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're making the same from that client as you did last year, you're working on basically the same things, all that, you're coasting,
Yeah.
right, Rich? You're just coasting along.
You're going, and your customers are going to be fine, but there's going to be a point where they might not need your services. So you have to hit them before that happens with a new initiative, a new product, a new service, a new offering. So the action step we have for number one is audit your main revenue source this afternoon. Okay. Plot it on a bell curve. How are you doing? And accept its true position without any ego. Get rid of the ego. Is it on an upward trajectory? Is it plateauing, or is it going down? A big one that I did was a number of years ago. I coach clients. Okay, I coach
Yep.
small businesses. I coach executives. But I decided about 5 or 6 years ago to do a launch, to do an S curve, my own S curve. So I started building this group business coaching webinars where I coach groups of people. And it was great for a number of years. And it was the typical S curve. It went up, made a lot of money, it plateaued, and then I started seeing it started going down. I think COVID was large part of it. But
Yeah.
it was done. So I started another S curve from that. So that's just one example of doing something like that.
Yeah. And it really creates it's my opinion that it creates energy within your group
Yes.
because everybody feels it. And if you begin that new S curve, everyone's on it. They're all on it. Your team is psyched that you're
Yeah.
getting it going.
And your customers get psyched
Oh
because
my God.
you're not the same old, yeah, I'm delivering milk every day. Hey, by the way, we have ice cream and we have yogurt and we have all these other new things that we could offer you. So
Exactly.
number
Um,
two, number
mhm.
two is enforce the 20% future fund. See, once you get an idea of what you'd like to do, you need to start financing it. So fund your future right now. The absolute best time to dig your next well is while you're still drinking from the current well.
I like that. Um, you know what? It's when you have the maximum capital and maximum influence. If you wait until your sales start to drop to pivot, you're acting out of desperation
Yeah.
and you don't have the money to pay for it. It's just a really bad position.
Yeah, you're coming from, I talk about this a lot with clients. You come from an area of scarcity rather than abundance, and your thinking and your reaction is all different. It's kind of like someone looking for a job while they still have a job, or someone looking for a job when they're unemployed. Two totally different mindsets. And
Yeah.
like BJ said, you're acting out of desperation.
Yeah.
So, and what we know is desperation is never a winning business strategy.
No, it is not. And you know what I find so interesting? We always create when we get an idea, we begin to create that fund. We're getting all psyched. Ours involved wanting to do video, and we
Mhm.
wanted to do a lot of large action, large things like that. That involved capital expenditure because we needed to pump money into the computers and training. And so those two things together made it work. So a great action step is really enforcing that 20% self-cannibalization rule today. You forcibly allocate 20% of your profits and the time into a high stakes secondary project. And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, you're going to have a lot of support from people at the company.
Yeah. Think about how Steve Jobs probably had to go to the board. They had to
Yeah,
get, because it's not like, oh, let's take a few dollars and start an iPhone. He had to get a whole team, that people that didn't know what phones were, because Apple never did anything like that. And he probably had to
right.
ask for tens of millions of dollars to
Right.
build that team to
Yeah,
move forward. So,
yeah.
well, we're taking a little promo break here. This podcast is sponsored by BJ Flagg at New Renew Brand Marketing. New Renew is a full-service agency building strong brands with clarity and vision. Their clients are reaching their potential with innovative messaging, results-driven AI research and analytics, with their audiences always front and center. Reach out to BJ Flagg at newrenew.com today.
And this podcast is also sponsored by Rich G Business Coaching. Is your business stuck and you are working harder than ever? Rich delivers bulletproof strategies to help your business grow 15 to 20% each year. That's a fact. Stop letting your own hustle become your biggest bottleneck. Schedule a quick chat with Rich at richg.com today, and he will diagnose your issue, and you'll leave with insight and action steps.
Yeah, I'm always about action steps.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
So let's get back into it. BJ, what's point number 3?
Okay. Embrace the hidden grind. Point 3 is really about resilience, okay? You have to embrace the secondary grind because this is going to affect what you do during your day. So, building your next curve takes intense effort with zero immediate financial return. You have to really believe in your future. You know what this reminds me of, Rich?
Yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, like when you first start, you know how
Yep.
you have that passion and you don't care. You'll work late. You'll do anything, work weekends, whatever it takes to get it to happen.
Yeah.
I need that energy. I
Yeah.
need that energy.
Well, getting back to Steve Jobs, just think about
Yeah.
his what he had to go through. There were people, I promise you, there were people within Apple and on the board and stockholders and everybody telling you don't know anything about smartphones. Look at who you're going to compete with, Motorola and BlackBerry. You know music, you know computers, and that's it. Stop playing in
We don't
sandboxes.
need it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't need it. Oh no,
yeah.
he just kept moving straight ahead.
Yeah, and when these things happen, it feels like a step backwards while your
Yeah.
main product is still paying the bills. You might be saying to yourself, "Oh, I really should be focusing on this." But this is the hidden cost of staying permanently relevant. You need to jump on that new S curve.
Yeah. And you know what? Most professionals fail here because they confuse their current momentum with immortality,
Yeah.
right? It's going to go on forever. And you have to build the boat while you're still standing safely on dry land. Look at, we all had to have a fax machine.
Yes.
No, no, you don't need a fax machine now. You
Yeah.
have other things that you could do. I always laugh hysterically when my doctor says, well, we're going to fax that over.
It's
Like,
crazy.
okay, you dinosaur, go ahead.
I- Well, your action step today is commit to a 90-day grind phase for your new initiative. Expect absolutely zero revenue from it and celebrate the R&D process instead. A thing that I did last year was a S curve that I did was I wrote a book.
Yeah,
And that has nothing to do with my coaching. And there was $0 coming from it. So I
right.
literally spent 6 to 9 months writing it, working with the publisher, typesetting, picking out graphics for the cover, everything, and then getting it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. $0, but it went out there, totally revolutionized my business. I mean, every person I talk to, I go, I'll send you a copy of the book, and I'll talk about the book. And it's a great leader for a lot of my business, and it's great. I'm actually looking into writing a second book. So that's what you need to do. Celebrate the R&D process.
Absolutely. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to love it. You're going to love this. It's the perfect thing to be doing. So lead us into number 4.
Number 4 is the seamless strategic launch. This is where preparation meets perfect timing to create your competitive advantage.
So if you think of that exact moment, your primary product shows signs of flattening, you strike. You launch that new product that you have been grinding on in secret. It's exciting. It creates an excitement.
Yeah, and the goal is seamless, and it's an exponential jump into a totally new life cycle. When I wrote that book, or when I did those group coaching, it was like it injected energy into my services. And the best part is no stagnation, no market panic, and absolutely no failure phase.
And what I loved about it is I got to hear about the book all the time. And when I say we went through a million covers, we went through a million covers. But I think that your attention to detail and how you were going to have it come together totally paid off. Like in spades, it couldn't have been better. But you really picked a great time to launch it too.
Thank you.
And I think in that part of your business, that lift, I think, lifted the other. So you have that curve, but you're also lifting the other curve. Yeah. So it's kind of it's an incredible way to do it. A great action step for this is set a specific flattening metric for your current business. The day your numbers hit that metric, confidently press go on your next launch.
Yeah, the minute you see your products or your services start to plateau, that's when you launch. You see it going down, that's when you launch. So 2026 is going to be a monumental year if you decide to stay ahead of the curve.
Keep innovating, keep testing new ideas, and never get too comfortable with today's success.
And it's time to stop appreciating your position and start building your legacy. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, go to richg.com and read the complete article just published this week. And there's a great graphic that explains the S-curve.
Yeah. And I appreciated having that article to kind of lean back on, Rich. I really did. It just gave me such perspective on what are those next steps. This is all about us. Better people, better business, better life. Great job, Rich.
And thank you to our producer, Richard Scalzo, for making us sound incredible. And thanks for you for tuning in to the Best Small Business Show.